PDF. Just remember unchainedaustralia.com, and in that book you will find 23 wonderful authors, including 7 Western Australians, including Professor Zimmerman, for example. Including the great Stephen Wells. Right now, we're going to welcome Dr. Judy Wilyman.
Hello everyone. Can I just first of all say, fantastic to see you all out here today to this spontaneous rally, and even better to see more people coming up to speak. So thank you. Give yourself a clap. I firstly want to say that we have been terrorised over the last 2 weeks with a Premier that thinks he can inject every citizen of this state without any laws to support that. You might know that there's no public health order written for most of the 75% of the workplace that were threatened with their jobs just recently. But don't worry, McGowan is making those laws now and bringing them out retrospectively. But I'd like to give you some very simple points. Firstly, this is an injection that does not create herd immunity. Is that a vaccine? No! Mr. McGowan, an injection that does not create immunity, that does not prevent transmission of a virus in the community, and that does not prevent us getting disease, is not a vaccine. And this is not a vaccination campaign. Now, if you people want to save yourselves because the quarantine camps are being built for unvaccinated people, you'd better start changing the language that Mr. McGowan is using. Let me quote McGowan directly. He said, "This is a vaccination campaign and you are listening to disreputable sources." So apparently a PhD from a university in Australia is a disreputable source, and this injection is not a vaccine. So why is he implementing a mandatory policy for an injection in Western Australia? Let me give you one more other simplification, Mr. McGowan. There is no risk of COVID disease in any workplace in Australia. COVID disease is a flu-like illness that had no more deaths or hospitalisations last year than any other flu virus in any other And that was the same for every country around the world. We have a treasonous Premier. Sacrifice! Let me give you the second bit of this, because you need to be angry and you need to start changing the narrative. This is a drug. When you put a drug into a genetically diverse population, you will have many different reactions over a time period of 20 to 30 years. It does not come out immediately. And this is a clot shot. Spike protein is in every one of the 4 COVID injections. It doesn't matter if you get J&J or Novavax. Every one of them will put a spike protein into your body that adheres to the blood vessels inside. And that builds up over time. If you are unhealthy to begin with obesity, you could die within weeks or months, or it might take longer, 2, 3, up to 10 or 15 years. But the clot shot is designed to do that. And that's not the only harm that will be caused by this drug. Now, this drug is not a vaccine. And in fact, there is no drug that doesn't have side effects, even if it was a vaccine. And I have heard all the commentators on the mainstream media and our government officials say that the adverse events after these injections come out immediately. They do not come out months and years later. That is a lie. You must stop this narrative by changing the words, okay? It is not a vaccine. You refer to it as an injection. It is an injection campaign. It has adverse events that come out 10 or 20 years later in the form of autoimmune diseases. And let me tell you, anyone with a gene that links you to one of these autoimmune diseases should be exempt from this injection. You can no longer protect your own health because the regulatory board for doctors is now influenced and controlled by the government. And they have prevented doctors from telling you that your genes predispose you to the autoimmune diseases that we are seeing coming out in droves in your friends and relatives who thought this was a vaccine. What deceit is that? They are walking into their own illnesses and deaths because the doctors in this country are impotent. Do not go to your doctor to get advice on this injection. They cannot even protect the number one fundamental principle of medicine, which is that every drug, no matter what you call it, a vaccine or a medicine, it is a drug, and every drug must be given with respect to your genetics. And that was removed by the Australian government in 2015 when they brought in the no jab, no pay and play. So your children were taken away in 2015. So get angry. As Dolores Cahill has said over in Ireland and many people around the world, enough is enough and we take back the power. We are seeing prominent celebrities across the country die suddenly in their sleep. And they can range in any age now. This didn't happen last year. It was the elderly dying of supposedly COVID disease when in fact they had comorbidities that were the underlying problem with a flu-like illness. You have been fully deceived, and these public celebrities have been announcing to you and promoting this injection as a vaccine and bragging that they're double jabbed, and 2 or 3 months later they die. But we're not allowed to talk about the cause of that death, and yet they're in a clinical trial and they voluntarily participated in that trial. How can we protect our own health if we can't know what's causing the death of these people that are promoting an injection that's never been tested in the human population? Can I be any more clearer than that, Mr. McGowan?
I don't know what they're protesting about. We are free. We don't have lockdowns. We have an open society. We have everyone in work. What are they going on about? Medicine is part of modern society, and it has been for 200 years.
This is genocide on the population. Treason against the people. And we are going to walk to Governor House after this rally, and every one of you is to write a letter to Kim Beazie saying we want McGowan removed. because as you know, we have a treasonous media, absolutely treasonous. They have not been promoting public health policy in the public's interest of health for decades. And they introduced the word anti-vaxxer.
I think it's more an anti-vaxxer campaign. And I just urge those people to grow up.
How derogatory and rude. So the answer to the anti-vaxxer, because the hate speech has been coming from the pro-vaxxers, medical industry complex for decades, and we are the ones that are the butt of this. Let me tell you that the response of choice to this anti-vaxxer comment, you need to say to these people, oh, so you're a person removing informed consent. Now put that together and you'll know what name to call them. Okay? This is what we have to do. We have to stop using the labels. We don't say it's a vaccination campaign. On the 20th of November, we want 100,000 people in Perth.
Freedom! 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 Freedom!
And at this rally, we will all be wearing white shirts, and these shirts will have a label on them. And every one of you, I urge you to buy one of the shirts. You say, this is a drug, it is not a vaccine, and your partner will wear the opposite. They will say, we are jabbed, we are not unvaccinated. Okay, we need to change the narrative because our friends and family are indoctrinated. We need a pattern interrupter. Okay, and we need to say injection, not vaccination, jabbed, not vaccinated. Every one of you are playing your part. It's word of mouth because of the treasonous media. You can't go to your doctors for health now because they're guarded by the government. So for the next, all of these rolling protests, we're going to have rolling protests right up to the 20th. Every one that you can attend is important because that's our visibility. And all the jabbed people are saying, oh my God, I feel coerced. Look at all these people that know what they're doing. They are coming to our rallies, and by the 20th of November, we will get 100,000, and they will be flying down from Karratha and Port Hedland and
Brought to you by Freedom Media WA, where journalism should never be a government narrative. Like, share and subscribe to my channel to see real people telling real stories.